Hello, my friends. Good morning. You're going to get two videos today because yesterday was Sunday and I did not feel like making a video. I felt like knitting and I knit a lot of stitches. I haven't done the math yet. Maybe I'll do that for this afternoon. But I finished that skein. And here, I'm going to turn Jane to the side and you can see right here is where I started that skein and went all the way down and finished it off here at the center front, actually, just about. And I have slipped about half the stitches onto a smaller needle that I had handy so that I could see if, without putting it on more waste yarn, if it's where I want it to be. I haven't steamed this yet, so I know it'll relax a little bit more, but let's see, I got my tape measure, and you're gonna have to look at my face while I measure. It is, it's about 10.5 inches. Here, now I can show you. It's about 10.5 inches. It's rolling up, that's why. I promise you. It's about 10.5 inches from the underarm. And I want to do, I think, about 3 or 4, probably 4 inches of ribbing. I say 3 because I find ribbing pretty tedious. But I think I want it to be 4 inches. And so I have to decide if like a 14.5, 15-inch length from the underarm is what I want. I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to pull out some other sweaters that I like and see and look at measurements for other patterns that I've written and see if that's what works for me. So that is the first thing I have to think about today before I come back to you at the end of the day, because this is the makeup for yesterday, for Sunday. The other thing I want to decide is whether I want to split hem or not. I know I want to do ribbing, and I just have to decide, do I want to do a split hem? Do I want the back to be longer? I certainly don't want the front to be longer. That's not what I'm looking for. But those are the questions. Is it long enough? And then do I want it just a regular old around and around hem, or do I want a split front and back? I think if I'm going to make it longer, I'm more inclined to do the split hem. I don't like if you've got a split hem and it ends too high on your waist, and then you've got like your t-shirt or whatever underneath flapping out. That is not the look I am going for. So those are the things I have to decide. Oh, one more thing. I have to decide the number of stitches in my ribbing. I mean, whether I'm going to do a 2x2 or a 3x3. Originally I thought like, oh, I need to do a 2x2. All of the numbers for the various sizes are based on 4-inch increments. So this is the 44-inch bust. And so that's a multiple of 4. So then it's easy to do 2x2 ribbing. But what I had forgotten until this morning, I was thinking about it, my gauge for the stockinette, for the plain stockinette, not the color work. Here, let's look at the beauty of Jane. My gauge is 6 stitches to the inch. So it would be really easy to do a 3x3. So I have one more thing to decide, I guess. And I guess, I mean, you can always, fudge a little, you can add or subtract a few stitches, but it's really nice if you just can switch from the stockinette to the ribbing and not really worry about it and know that it's gonna just work. That's really more a designer issue. I should have worked that out for you before you work, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. But it does give me another option of doing the 3x3 instead of the 2x2. So those are things I have to decide. Is it long enough? 1. And 2, whether I want to do in the round or a split hem. And I have to sneeze. And then 3, whether I want to do a 2x2 or a 3x3 ribbing. So those are the things I'm going to be figuring out today while I am putting the French translation of I Knit Paris into the layout, which is taking forever. But those are the 3 things I have to figure out, decide. And then the thing I have to figure out is how many stitches I got out of one skein so that I can know that will be the other factor actually in deciding if it's long enough, because I need to figure out how much yarn I need to do the 2 sleeves. And the ribbing. I have 2 skeins more of this, and I can get more, but I'd really like to use the yarn I have and then be done with it, because I do like finishing things up. I like having done things. I don't always like doing things, although I have enjoyed doing this color work, and I enjoyed a couple of days of just straight old stockinette. I finished my book because I could read and just knit around and around and around without even looking. And it's an old paperback, so it stays open where you want it to. And so that's what I'm working on now. The other thing, I keep thinking I've told you all the things I want to work on and figure out. But the one other thing, as I'm looking at my beautiful color work here, is whether I want to incorporate either of these stitch patterns one more time. And I think that would just be in near the cuffs of the sleeves. I think I don't want any more color work at the hem. It's hard to get the gauge so that it still flows. I would think the color work gauge tends to be a little more square and a little more tight. Just the fabric isn't as stretchy, no matter how loosely you carry your floats. So, but I could see it at the cuffs maybe. So I have to work on visualizing what that needs to be. So that is the story from here. And I will be back later today with, I will report on all those decisions. So I guess I need to make all those decisions. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Yeah, and I'll see you later today. Bye.